Welcome in. It is the local and community issues and answers right here with Jonathan Lawson. So glad to have in our studios today from the OBI, Oneida Baptist Institute School, Larry Gritton. Welcome in, Mr. Larry.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me in today.
Larry, we're going to talk about OBI. Tell us, viewing audience, about OBI.
Oneida's been around for a long time. The school was founded in 1899 by a local gentleman named James Anderson Burns. And he felt like he could educate the children in the area. Maybe they'd stop feuding and things would get better. Okay. And so the school's been around for a long time, and we've grown into kind of a nationwide and worldwide school. We have kids from all over the country and all over the world that come to us every year.
Wonderful. Now, what are the grade levels of these children?
Grades 6 through 12. We begin taking our boarding students in the 6th grade, and we have a K through 5 class for our faculty and staff children, but our boarding students begin in the 6th grade.
Okay. And now, how long have you been with the school system?
Well, in this position at Oneida, I've only been on the job for 2 months as president. I grew up there. My parents worked there for 20 years, and I'm a graduate of Oneida in 1993. And then after college, my wife and I returned to Oneida and served there for 7 years before being called away to Florida. And we spent the last 9 years in Florida, and now we're back at Oneida, and it's kind of like being back home. My wife's also a graduate of the school.
Wonderful. Now, what are some of the basics that you do each day? You got to go in there and make sure everything's going just right.
A lot of different things. I go in some days and not sure what's going to come up, but we have a large faculty and staff, so I get to work with those folks on a daily basis. We have a large number of volunteers that come to us, especially this time of year, and a big part of our ministry and do a lot for us on our campus. We have guests and visitors from churches and different groups that come on a regular basis, so I spend time with those folks, and then responsible for the day-to-day and trying to keep the school where the Lord wants it.
Exactly. You know, that's what I was getting ready to say, a Christian school, Christian atmosphere, teaching these kids, right from wrong, and that's what they need today.
They do. Oneida's been doing that for a long, long time. Kids do not have to be professing believers to come to our school. We have kids from all different backgrounds and religions, but they know when they come to us, we are a Christian school, and we're going to present them with the gospel. And they go to chapel every day during our school week for 30 minutes, and then on the weekends they go to church on Sunday morning and Sunday night. So they are definitely exposed to the gospel.
Wonderful. Tell the people from your heart, the mission of OBI.
Well, our motto is education for time and eternity, and that's what we've been trying to do for a long time. We want to point kids toward Jesus, and they find a lot of other things there as well that help them later in life, such as, they get a diploma and a good work ethic, and they learn a lot of skills that they may not learn in a more traditional Christian day school, because we have them around the clock. They're there 24/7, 9 months of the year, and it's just really a blessing to have the privilege of working with young people and pointing them toward Christ.
So these kids stay there.
They do. That keeps us busy. They're there around the clock, and the day's very structured, and they go from one thing to the next, and next thing you know, it's time to do it over again the next day. So they're there around the clock.
Wonderful. What's an average amount of students that you have at the school at this time? Just average.
We have 264 students right now, and that's grades 6 through 12, and we have some room for growth, and we're hoping that the Lord will send us more kids that we can minister to.
Now, where exactly is the school located? I know it's in Oneida, but give us a physical direction.
It's down in Clay County. If you go to Manchester and you go 17 miles, you head down Route 421 and eventually get on Highway 11. And it's not a place that you just kind of pass through. You have to make an effort to get to it. We're kind of at a remote location, but the school's been there for a long, long time, and a lot of people know where it is.
This takes a real love and a dedication for these students, these kids, to be a mentor. And I remember when I was in Christian school as a young boy, it still sticks in my heart, the things that the teachers told me, the principal. That's a lifelong experience.
It is. Our faculty and staff are wonderful people who love the Lord, number one, and number two, they love young people. So they're there to minister and hopefully teach them things that kids can carry with them. That's one of the things that's amazed me in my time back. People come back to our campus that haven't been there for a long time. Maybe they're only a student there for a year. might not even have graduated from the school, but they come back and they talk about things they learned there, and they ask about people that they had there as teachers and folks that worked with them. So it's a real blessing to minister there.
And you know, education has changed so rapidly in the past few years. I mean, everything's computerized, and these kids are learning such, dramatic things at an earlier age.
They do. Technology is a wonderful thing, but sometimes you have to kind of try to get a handle on it and see how you can best utilize it in terms of educating
Right.
our kids. And in some ways, when you go to Oneida, you're stepping back in time a little bit. We are in such a remote location, and cell phones and movie theaters and all those things aren't readily available. So it's a good place just to kind of slow down a little bit and hear from the Lord, and get to focus on some things that being out in the hustle and bustle of the real world doesn't really allow you to do.